Excellent. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Aegis stream. It's a very exciting week this week as we head to Philadelphia for Plex Unplugged. And I'm crunching to get ready for that, but we will stream it nonetheless because the game must be play tested. And this week, we're continuing our kind of Road to Kickstarter stream series. We were supposed to do a mode called Robot Rugby, but as we've been testing that off stream, it has not been very good. So while we work on that a little bit more, we're instead gonna do another test. This test is going to be for it's going to be for one of the Aegis 2 scenario book missions. In the first Aegis campaign, we had a scenario book. It had a whole bunch of wackadoo game modes and like different setups for boards and challenges for yourself and all that. Aegis 2 will be the same, where you're going to use some of your box content for Aegis 2, and it'll take you through the story of Aegis 2 and put you through all sorts of kind of wacky things. And this time we're going to try solo mode versus 2 bosses. In normal solo mode you just fight 1 boss, and this one you're going to fight 2. And this will probably be something like this will probably be one of the scenarios in Aegis 2's scenario book. And we've yet to test this. Just a few weeks ago, we started generating a lot of content and really refining the solo mode. And we're going to see how that works in context with fighting 2 at the same time. And yeah, so my name is Braze. I'm the Aegis creator person. Joining me is Yampy, who does all of our stream management. And we're gonna Yampy is going to hover and control the camera, and I am going to get my butt kicked by these 2 bosses in this very weird game mode. Alright, so the general gist of solo mode: you have a team of 5 robots, just like any other mode in Aegis. You fight against a boss robot. The boss robot has its own specific card. Boss cards are cool. They're sideways, so you can tell that they're different from a normal Aegis robot. And but for the most part, they have a lot of the similar Aegis syntax. They still have HP. They still have attacks that read exactly as other Aegis robot attacks do, and they have abilities that do what they say they do at the bottom of their card. So we try to keep a solo mode as reasonably close to how the rest of Aegis works as possible. And so the challenge of solo mode is you have about 4 turns, give or take, depending on the difficulty setting you want to do, to beat this boss. Every turn, you're going to move a robot, then the boss is going to activate one of these solo rondo cards, TM, on the side of the board here, and depending on what letter is on that card, it'll activate an ability. And it'll also spawn minion robots and activate those minion robots. And minion robots are just normal Aegis robot cards. And you can kind of actually make a minion deck for your boss out of any robots that you want. Suggestion that we do is that we're just using some of the default teams in Aegis 2. In the final game, each boss will have its own suggested minion pool to use. So in this mode, though, we're going to have 2 bosses. Normally the boss starts in the center. 2 bosses, though, they're going to start on these other 2 center tiles off to the side. I have 2 familiar bosses, 2 familiar characters from Aegis 1 that I'm fighting. One is Excelgon, is known as Etwall. If you might know this one from Aegis 1, it's on the box cover, and it's probably the strongest robot in that box. And so I thought it'd be funny if it were its own boss card. And same thing. And then over here we have Aerozelthal, the level 5 robot from the first box, and it is also gonna do stuff that's mildly similar to what it does on its normal robot card, e.g. it will shoot me from far away and blow stuff up, whereas Excelgon will walk up to me and kill me multiple times. I have both of their HPs kind of arbitrarily set at 9. Excelgon's HP is always 9, but I figured it was too low to cut down, and then normally Arazelsol has 16, but I also put it at 9 just for this test. I'm using a playtest team. Let's see. I'm using a playtest team for some stretch goal robots. We've been using these for the last few streams because they need the most sort of QA. And so I'm using a new version of Einar, and he has a suite of 7 basic robots and 5 combined robots. And in solo mode, I can actually start on opposite sides of the board if I wanted. So I can, if I want to have these 2 robots over here fight Arazelsol, and I'm going to have these 3 robots over here try to go for Excelgon, and Excelgon will probably just kill me, but we'll find out. This is going to be hilarious. Excelgon is... Yeah. Oh, yes. So X cost attacks... And so the boss doesn't have an energy pool like you do. X cost attacks in solo mode are based on the amount of energy in my pool. So... if I have 20 energy in my pool and Excelgon wants to use its Imperial Sky Saber on me, it will roll probably 20 energy worth of dice. So you want to use a lot of your energy to prevent that attack from being as potent as it is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A player always gets to go first, so I'll just start off. I have 19 energy, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna find out all the errors of this mode as we play it. So I'm gonna move up. I'm gonna spend 6 energy to move up to Outwall, and I'm going to punch him with my arc blade thingy. Let me rotate my pieces. Alright, so this new version of Einar, which does not have its final art set up yet, has a new commander ability called First Gambit. The first robot I attack with on my turn can choose to take a damage, and I can get a menu of things. I can do +1 damage, +1 distance on my attack, or get a reroll. Let's deal 1 damage to Einar and get a reroll, and I'm going to... I don't have my dice. I'm going to Gambit my first attack, which means I'm going to roll extra dice and do it in the hopes of damaging Atwall's face a lot. So let's roll 3 dice into that, because I have a reroll, and it's probably fine, and that lets me use more energy anyway. So let's roll 3 dice into Outwall. Yeah, that's actually pretty good, and I'll use that reroll. Yeah, baby. Yeah, I was looking for 4s or better. I got everything 4 better, so that's going to immediately deal 3 damage to Outwall, which is good before he starts rampaging around the board. And then that total move cost me 6, 10 energy, so I went from 19 down to 9. Alright, now we're going to activate the first Rondo card, which is G, and I guess we're going to activate robots in alphabetical order, as is kind of the default rule of solo mode. So Arazelsol will always go first, because it starts with an A. Arazelsol is going to use its Bossa Nova attack, which is is an attack name I will probably keep in the final printing because it's really funny. And it's going to hit everything in line of sight, which is all of my robots except for my Go. So that's good. Looking for 4s or better. So that would be 2 damage to all of my robots. Do I want to do something about that? In solo mode, you have a kind of a suite of what is known as Valor skills. And you can spend your HP, which I think I forgot to mention, but you lose. In this mode, I have HP. I lose it as my robots die, but I can also use it to use these abilities. So I could make one of his dice fail to prevent a damage on my whole team. But I don't think that matters because I think I know exactly what I'm going to do with my other robots. Yeah, okay. I guess I'll take 2 on everybody. And then... Doop-a-doop, doop-a-doop. 2, 3. And then 1, 2. Seems solid. And then Etwall is going to go. Etwall activates its G ability, so you can tell what boss actions are being used by the letters next to them. Arizal Sol in canon is a 5-letter robot, so it has 5 letters, and it'll activate pretty much on all solo Rondo cards. It'll do something. But Etwall's card is a little weird. It's only an AEG robot, so it'll actually just activate attacks when A's, E's, and G's come up. But it'll also act. No matter what, when an A G, E, or a G Rondo card comes up, it'll shoot 2 attacks. So it's always going to do 2 things. So in this case, G's going to happen. It's going to use Sky Striker, and that will shoot Einer because it'll target in alphabetical order, and Einer starts with an A. So it'll do that. And in this case, do I make a die fail? So die. Do I? And then do I do that? 2 minutes. Let's see if it's playing out my next turn. I could run up and try to combine and dig Einer's AG robot out of the pile because it's not default on this team. No, Einer can get blowed up. So Einer is going to get blowed up because it's going to take 3 damage, and that means I will lose 1 Valor because he's a single-letter robot, and then that's that. And then, of course, Excelgon will activate its other G attack, the counter maneuver, and it'll deal 1 damage to everything that's activated this round, which is just Einer, who's dead. So that was tactical anyway. So that means the G... Oh, and then all G minions would activate. There are no minions in play. Normally a boss would spawn minions at the start of the game, but in this 2-player mode, in this 2 versus 2 boss mode, I thought it was pertinent to not start with minions because that'd be a little ridiculous. So if there are no G robots, if no G minions activate, we're gonna spawn a minion, and we'll see what it is. It's gonna spawn Ashla because we're using Ashla's default team as the minion deck, and you know where a minion comes in because you just roll a die, and it'll come into play on that star point, which are these numbered spaces on the board. So
I think
Ashla will pop
covered.
in. 4 is, and because 4 is covered, it'll come into the next highest space, so it'll come in on 5. And And Ashla, if you want to highlight that card, is our main character robot for Aegis 2. It has a star for a head. Character designed by Gen Trigger. Illustration here by Noah Nagata. It's sort of been a mascot that we've been using in a lot of our promotions. I think it's a very cool robot. And it's important in the lore. And gameplay-wise, it is a robot that runs up and punches things. And if you're playing in normal Aegis and not solo mode, it has a cool combine ability. It has a cool commander ability that lets it kind of substitute as any other of your robots when combining. It's a wild card. Let's see.
And minions don't retain their commander abilities, right?
And minions don't really retain their commander. So the only ambiguous thing with solo mode, we have kind of like caveat rules for a lot of abilities. Commander abilities are nebulous because they're all so varied. I think in solo, it's like, so we actually in the rulebook it literally just says for commander abilities it's up to your discretion. Probably all the default teams that we'll put on the boss backs probably won't include commanders anyway. But if you're just using a default team as a placeholder minion deck, you get to decide whether the commander abilities make sense or not. A lot of them actually kind of do. Like Ashla's does, because the minions can combine, and maybe that'll come up later. So in this case, Ashla's will make sense. And so yeah, then the G, that's all. That's everything that the boss does on its turn. And now I'm going to do other stuff. Like I'm going to activate. What's my guy? Not that it really matters. I'm going to pay 6. I'm going to activate Accelerator on my Esha, which also doesn't have final art placement, but it has Accelerator, which lets me pay an amount of energy, move a robot a bunch of spaces, and then combine for free. My robots are basically adjacent anyway, so this would have cost the same to just combine them normally. But I'm going to make my EI robot, which is an Izzy 2000, which also has cool art, but is not placed on the card in a finalized way yet. So I don't want to highlight it too much. Let's see here. So I combine my E and my I guy together. Make it's a dog. It will flip my robots over, and it has an ability from Aegis 1 called Flicker, and it'll come into play. It'll move 7 spaces, and it'll stop a robot for attacking for a turn. So this will make Arazel Sol not move. This is actually a rule that we had to adjust recently. Can you put status effects on boss robots? And the answer is yes, but it's only active for one solo card activation. So I can activate Izzy, make it do that. Arazel Sol's not going to fire its big stupid red cannon at me this coming turn. And if I wanted to activate another robot in succession, I could by spending Valor points. But I think that was actually... No, I have 4 energy left, because that only cost me 6 to do. I'm going to spend 2 Valor to activate my blue ability, which it lets me... We actually adjusted this in the rules recently too. You can use the blue Valor ability to activate combines and kind of give them haste. Basically, the wording is you can activate a robot that hasn't yet activated this turn. So let's do that, and let's get some beats in with my Izzy 2000. Which blazes? Yeah. So actually, can I reach you? I'm gonna see if I can shoot the Excel gun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I'm gonna move up 2, and I'm gonna roll 2. and that'll be the rest of my energy for the turn, which actually means that his Imperial Sky Saber is not going to do anything, which is something I strategically played around. And then I miss, but that's fine. Alright, cool. So actually I can make that hit. I'm going to spend 2 Valor and turn my 1 into a 6. So I will deal 2 more damage to Etwall. And he'll be blazed. And then we're going to go to the A card activation. Aerosol Assault doesn't do anything because I disarmed it. And then Excelgon, and I forgot to actually do this ability last turn.
I think last turn you were standing next to it anyway.
Oh yeah, for the robot with the least integrity. I think, yeah, I probably had the least integrity. So, Etwall's ability, he has an ability called Challenge, and it's before each Rondo card activates if there are no player robots within 3 hexes. Oh, if there are no player robots within 3 hexes, yeah. So only if he's alone he'll start jetting around the board. If there's no player robots within 3 hexes, he's going to move a robot to a hex with the least integrity, which is my S-type, and I can choose which adjacent hex to put it in. If it matters, you can't push bosses off the board, which is something I think I still need to clarify in the rules. I keep forgetting, but I'll put you there, and then you're going to Imperial Sky Saber and roll 0 dice because I have 0 energy left in my pool, and then we're going to Sky Striker. It'll actually shoot my go because of alphabetical order. So let's see if it hits me for 3 damage. It does not. That's good. And then that's all Etwall does this turn. Alright, back to my turn. I have 0 energy. I could spend 2 Valor to give myself 5 energy, but I don't think that's worth it. Oh, and Etwall took 1 damage because he moved, because I blazed him like a smart boy. And then what are you gonna do? I'm gonna shoot you in the face. No, I'm probably just gonna pass. And then bosses will activate again. Aerosol Solid does its S action, which is summon a minion. Oh, actually, no. I activate all A minions, and there's no A minions in play. I mean, there's nothing in range, so Ashla will actually move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 towards the nearest ally. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm assuming you can't really get much closer than that anyway. And now I'll do it. So since a minion activate, I don't spawn a new minion. And now then it would go to my turn, and then I pass, and then now the boss will go and activate their S abilities. There's all Saul's S ability is just poop out a minion. Boop, boop. Glah.
It still rolls for it though, right? Or
It does still roll for it. Do you spawn a minion, Arozel Saul? Yes, you do. Okay, now you do. And then 1. So here's you. I have a tiny claw in my face. And funny story, if you ever really want to, it's your Valor abilities that let you change any dice to a 1 or a 6. You can use that on any die roll. So if you really wanted to re-roll like a minion spawning die or something like that, you could, which is kind of interesting. So that's that S ability. And Excelgon has no things that activate on S, but it still does this thing called Challenge, because it's before each solo Mondo card activates. If there are no player robots within 3 hexes, it will jump around. But there are player robots within 3 hexes, so we won't. And there are no S minions in play. No minions activated this turn, so it'll spawn another minion. What is it? That's a combined robot. It can't be made, so it'll just go to the bottom. And there's an E. So we're flushing out the minions. And also, if you kill minions, you do deal damage to bosses now. The question is, which boss do you deal damage to if you're fighting 2 bosses? And I'm going to say that you get to choose. And Ender rolls a 1 to spawn in, so that means he'll come in on the 2 because 1 is occupied. And boop ba doop. That's it for round 1. And there's 12 cards in the solo Rondo deck. There's 2 of each letter and 2 special attacks that are mapped to bosses. And we're going to see what happens when we activate those, which is another very ambiguous thing. Oh, cool.
Oh, we get to see what happens to both of them in the same turn.
Yeah, right? Let's see. Do you... So let's see, in this mode, should you just shuffle in the special attack cards for both bosses, or do you choose one or the other?
You could do like really... one from each, right?
Technically. So this is funny. So Excelgons, this actually would be pretty amusing if it were just choose one from each. Excelgon's 2 super cards are called Super Mode, and when the first one comes out, Excelgon gets a bunch of buffs, and they last until the second one comes out. So if there is no second one, he will just retain those buffs forever, which could be kind of amusing. It's meant to help him out since he only has 9 HP, but he does recover some stuff. We can do that. We'll say that this Devastation, or let's see here. Yeah, I'll say that Devastation is Excelgon Super Mode. But yeah, at the start of every turn he has a Magnificent. At the start of each round, Excelgon has an ability called Magnificent. This kind of channels his playable robot card. And he'll repair 1 for each... We actually have added this. It says active or dead robot, but I think it's just going to be dead robots. But we still need to kind of define that a little bit. Because recovering for each active or dead robot is... Recovering for HP for each active and dead robot is quite annoying. But I am beating the tar out of him this game. We'll see. So yeah, if there are dead minions, he will do that. But there are no dead minions. So he'll start with... Because he's going to get his boosties this turn anyway. So turn 1. What do I want to do? Is there any way for me to just deal 3 damage to Excelgon? So he doesn't activate and just dies. Oh, and also I get to respawn in Einer. So I could just respawn in right here. Maybe I punch him? 3 damage.
Einer could do it with a good gambit roll.
Einer could do it with a good gambit roll. I could also theoretically walk up with my Go and try to deal a bunch of collision damage to him, which I think has better accuracy. Probably go... Yeah, let's do... I probably want Einer to be here in case I want to combine, because Einer's level 3 is bonkers. I'll take my chances with this. Okay, so I'm going to move 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to start my turn with how much energy? 18. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. I'm going to slam my Go's face into the Excelgon. If I get all 3 of these correct, it'll deal 3 damage, and I'm actually going to make him take a damage with Einer's commander ability, so I can get that reroll. Okay, well, let's pay 1 to reroll. Okay, that's good. And then I can pay 2 Valor points to turn this into a 6. And that will deal 3 damage to my go. And 3 damage to Excelgon. No, that would kill Excelgon, and that's probably fine. But I was also thinking about doing like a potential thing where the bosses don't die unless you can manage to gank them both in a single turn or something. Like they have a focus band in Pokemon, and they just stay at 1. But you know, that's...
They could
Or maybe
also
they'll...
stay on the board at 0 integrity or whatever, and just
Oh, yeah, let's do that. That sounds cool. Alright, well... Or it could respawn in at the start of the next round at 0 or something, so at least you can remove it from the board for a turn. Let's see, what is challenging but fair? Because otherwise the 0 HP is gonna... Excelgon's gonna kick my ass. Like, really bad. I did that for the purposes of getting it off the board, so Excelgon will fall off the board for a turn, and then it'll come back later at the start of next round if the game is still happening. We'll say that for now as I take copious notes. So then this would go off. This is Excelgon's super mode ability. It whiffs. Normally it would give him a bunch of buffs and let him attack 3 times, and then it would activate all minions. It'll still do that last thing, so minions will still activate. Omni, nothing's in range, so it'll just move close to my combined robot because it's a melee attacker. And then same thing with Ender. Ender will just come up here and hug me, and then Gla will do its radial push, which might actually do some damage. And much like other things, Gla is not going to Gambit. It's in solo mode. You probably don't use Gambit if it's on a minion. Let's see. Up, that's 4 push, which will deal 2 collision damage to my go. So I riskied for the Biscuit and my go died. And then my Einer will take 2 collision damage also. Alright, and so that's all minions. And then we're gonna go again. What are we gonna do?
And with the big attacks like that, if you didn't have any minions, would you still spawn a new one?
That's a good question. We haven't figured that out yet. The answer is there should probably have the spawn clause at the end. Yeah, I will say that. Yeah, normally it has never really come up that you'll have 0 minions in play when one of those pops out, but it's a very common thing that probably would happen if they pop out in round 1 or something. So yeah, I think it'll just be a universal rule that if a Rondo card does not make minions do anything, it will spawn minion. Boop, boop, boop. So that's that card, and what do I want to do with my second thing? I want to start shooting at the boss. I want to start getting out of range of this Ashla that is menacing me. What are you going to do? You're going to fire Planet Reshaper and deal a bunch of damage to my guys. I can't stop you from doing that, but I can deal potentially 3 damage to you. So I'm gonna do... Let's go shooty shoots. That misses. Do I spend some energy... spend some Valor to turn that into a 6? The answer is yes, because I make poor choices. So I'm actually at 5 HP. So that will deal 2 damage to Aerozel Sol, and it will blaze it, which is important because Aerosol Sol, when it says 2 damage, whenever Aerosol takes 2 damage from an attack, it will roll a die, and then it will switch places with the robot on that star point that you roll. So let's go 3, and so it'll pop over here to the 3, and then the question is, does that proc Blaze? Actually, I guess in the rulebook it says that swapping places doesn't proc Blaze because swapping places comes up in start point. So yeah, whatever. So anyway, I did deal 2 damage to it, and now Planet Reshaper will happen, and then Aerosol Sol is going to roll 10 dice on it, and for each 3 or better, it's going to deal damage to my whole team. But I get to divide the damage as I want. So here's the first 5. That's 4 damage. Oh, we're rocking it. Is that really 3s or better? Let me see that. Is it 3s or 4s or better? Flip. Yep, 3. Alright, so 9 damage across my robots. Do we even have 9 HP across my robots? I have a total of like 8 HP across my robots, so that will actually wipe me. Regrettable.
Well, you still have 1 Valor left after that.
It's true. I won't. I'm not gonna lose. I'm just gonna be sad. It'll stop. I guess even if I did somehow prevent some of this damage, the minions would 100% be killing me anyway. So let's kill all my robots and go to 1 HP. Let's see. And then maybe I just need a game plan. Maybe Excelgon doesn't spawn back in. Maybe it's fine to just kill enemies. Well, it'll depend on what bosses are actually used in this scenario, because we can kind of tune the rules up a little bit better that way, based on which robots will be paired together. So my robots all die. All the minions activate. They don't do anything because there's no allied robots to move closer to and nothing to attack. And now the iRobot will activate. I mean, the I card will activate. Aerosol Sol will roll a die to see if it spawns another minion. It does. And then we're going to Claw 1000, which is something that will be made. So this A and this G robot go to the discard minion pile, and then I'm going to bring in this AG robot, and it will come into play in either spot, just like in normal Aegis of like one of the components. I get to choose as the player. I'm gonna make it come in over here because I'm going to make the game easier for myself by making it spawn far away from me. If you're a solo mode brutalist, you can choose to, have it come in the more brutal spot, which would be next to my start zone. Let's see, I'm going to, and then that will be the rest, that will be that turn. I reveal 3 new solo cards, and then I'm going to respawn my whole team.
Wouldn't you also spawn a minion from the I card since there aren't any I minions on the board to move?
That is true. Let's see here. And there's an On-100. The solo mode expansion for Aegis 2 comes with your very own Yempi, who will remind you of rules. And 3, so all 100. your peak spawn underneath. So all will come in on the 4. Okay, there we go. So yeah, a lot of minions in play. What do I do? Who's good at dealing 7 damage? The things. Probably Einer's level 3. So we can try that. I guess who's good at killing the stupid Ender that is menacing me? Well, first I spawned the Rondo cards because you want to know what the boss is going to do before you spawn. Aside from bosses, die rolling on you, I wanted the AI in this mode to be reasonably predictable so you could work around it. As opposed to it just being like, you'll spawn all your robots in, then it reveals its Rondo cards, then you're just sad because the boss will just completely destroy you based on where you put your guys. So this turn, nothing super scary. It's just going to spawn more minions, but it's going to do a Bossa Nova in the middle of the turn. I could make my EI robot again to nerf its Bossa Nova, which might be something I kind of have to do. So let's do that. So let's put my E and my I robot over here. And on turn 2, I'm gonna probably go 1, 2, 4, 6, 8. Oh, you're actually too far away. Let's make my E and my I robot over here, because I need to be within 7 to flicker it. And also, none of these minions are gonna really activate this turn except for Gla, which is good. So why don't I... Where's my last robot? Shah died. Shah has not done anything really useful this game. But that can change. We can all change. So I have 1 HP. Nothing can die. Or else I'll kind of probably lose. Loss is checked at the end of the round, so even if I lose a Valor point, yeah, I won't lose until the end of the round. So I could try to... And you don't actually... So I could go deep into debt and go into the negatives of Valor to try to pull off some really dumb crap to try to just waylay the boss for 7. But every time I deal 2 to it, it's going to jump around. So that's troublesome. What do I do? I'm going to start at 19, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to move and combine. And I'm going to make my GS robot. Or do I? Yeah. 6, so I'm going to go down to 12. Should I make it closer to Einer? That's the real question. So that one will come into play. Yeah. Do that. Actually, I will make it right here because I probably want to make my level 3 Einer this turn. So, my robot has ignition. I will be able to shoot stuff this turn. Or do I... 1, 2... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna keep making Yampy redraw lines. I'm gonna go back over here. Because I want to probably shoot at Aerosol Sol with this new robot. Because it has ignition, so I could do that. So that was my turn.
And so I forget, does it ignition trigger immediately, or is it you have to use one of your later activations?
That's a solid ass question. I think I did clarify that in the rulebook. It says that because I think I'm keeping the word immediately in the text. I probably for intuition's sake, I think ignition and arc buster and other things that say consecutive or immediately do let you do it immediately. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, immediately means immediately language. So we're gonna do that. So we're gonna move up one space. I'm gonna shoot 2 mortars at Aerosol Sol. And we're gonna hope it doesn't bounce to the other side of the board. We're gonna actually hope it bounce. In an ideal world, it'll bounce to like the 2 or something. Or if it bounces to the 5, that means the Bossa Nova won't hit me. So I guess it'll be good either way. Actually, yeah. Do I plan around Bossa Nova? If it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, if it's in the 1 or the 2, I'm golden. If it jumps around there. If it's the 5, I'm also fine. If it's the 6, it's going to Bossa Nova and hit my combined robot here. That's also fine. Whatever. Alright. Rolling some mortars. I hit on 5s or better because we arrived. I miss. And here's where we're going to start going into technical debt. So I'm going to pay 2. I'm going to make one of those a 6.
You have reroll on it, right?
I do. Smart Yampy. Let's pay 1 to reroll. Alright, now I'm going to go into technical debt. So that's going to deal 2 damage to the boss. And then... So at the end of... We know at the end of this round I'm going to lose. And... Can I even make... 1, 2, 3, 4... So if I'm at 11 and I go down to 4... I'm going to have to give myself some energy with Valor in order to combine into Argo. But I guess we'll see where Aerosol Sol jumps around to. 4. Which is where it's standing. So that means it'll go to 5. That's suboptimal. Can I win now? I took a risk. Oh wait, no. Oh. Spend 2 Valor to make it go to 1.
Pro gamer move.
Pro gamer move. We're getting there. So now it'll do its eye thing, which is just spawn a minion. I can't afford to worry about minions at this point. 2. Actually it misses, so it won't spawn a minion. That's good. But then
it'll spawn one anyway because there aren't any eyes on the map, right?
That's also true. So whoop. Yeah. Okay. Ender and Awe will come into play, and this is a situation where I'm also going to just make it spawn in the more suboptimal spot for the AI. And is that cheating? It's solo mode. You can decide what's cheating and what's not cheating. No one's around to judge you except for Yampy, who will be included in the box. But if I wanted to make life hard, I wouldn't really activate this turn anyway, and I'm going to lose, so I guess it doesn't really matter where it is. In fact, maybe it's actually better that it's here on the off chance that I can kill it to deal 2 Valor damage. And combined robots don't activate their combined Minion combines don't activate combine abilities. That's important to note. Otherwise, it would deal a bunch of damage to me. Boop. Let me keep track of what I've got going on here. So I have my GS robot. Oh, what do I do? I think I let it Bossa Nova. So the one rule that is a thing in... You can go into negatives, but if you if you hit -5, you just lose automatically. So I'm actually in a spot where I can't spend any more Valor. I could... The other question is, should there be any way in solo mode in general to gain Valor? And that's a good question. So we don't have an answer for that yet. I was thinking maybe combining Netsu and Valor, but that messes with some math. Do I let it go to the 5? Can I kill it somehow over there that way? Probably not. I could change it to a 6 and make it go to the 6. That doesn't help me at all.
It might be interesting if you got Valor by like occupying the star points or something like that.
Oh yeah, that is a good idea. Let's see. Yeah, I guess that would give like another dimension of things to do in the mode where you can think about regaining Valor by sitting star points. Look at you, be so smart. Oh, that's a $1 million idea. Izzy, Esha, aw. Alright, so my GS robot has already activated. I could make... Oh, I deal 5 damage. Okay. I could Gambit my Esha. No, I can't. It doesn't have Gambit, but it can maybe deal 3 damage. And then I could... And then Izzy deals some damage. It has crit. So I could potentially crit. So I could just kill it the old-fashioned way. Oh, I can go take Seabaxies a little bit. Since Go was the first robot I activated on my turn, I forgot that I had Einer's Commander ability, and I would have done that for a reroll. So let's go back in time and see if I reroll my second dice. No, I would have missed anyway. Okay. That would put me at 1 less energy. Okay, so that sucks. This is a puzzle. It's like solo mode in Aegis is basically like a chess puzzle with dice rolls. So we're looking to deal 5 damage. 5 damage. Okay. And if I do this, the damage is gonna Bossa Nova. And I can't activate the Izzy immediately without going to -5. If I combine into it. This is enthralling. You can watch me have a mental collapse in real time as I try to figure out how to win. So across these guys alone, I can deal 4 damage, potentially. And then Einer's all the hell way over here. Because I didn't plan well. I trust you for that. If I didn't spend any Valor this turn, like an intelligent person, I would still probably be at 1. And then I would have a whole extra turn to figure this out. But I didn't. I wanted to get greedy and try to kill the boss this turn. So that's my fault. And the Art Go costs 8 to make. And you are more than... You are too many spaces away. I could do... I don't think I can do it. So I let you go over there somehow. And I combine. And I can't deal 5 damage just by killing minions either. Is it possible for Einar to murder this all 1000? On a very, very, very slim chance. I have the energy for it. I could gambit. I can gambit for 5, and if I get 5 fours or better, it will kill the A1000 and deal 2 damage to the boss. So that's still most of my turn though, because Einar's all the hell way over there. Crap. Okay. I can't combine into... I think I just lose, but we'll play it out. I'm going to deal... I'm going to attack with Izzy. I'm just going to attack with normal Izzy, and it's going to be cool. And I'm going to get a pair of 6s. Oh, that's good. So Izzy has crit, and it's going to deal 2 damage, and it's going to set the robot on fire. Not that the fire matters, because Arizal Sol doesn't move in a normal way. So Arizal Sol will roll a die, and it will run away, because it's a baby, and it's going to stay on the same spot. And then we're going to go to G activation, which is Bossa Nova, and we're going to roll 3 dice, and it's going to miss on all 3 of them. It did miss on all 3 of them. So the only person who will kill me this turn is myself, and so now you're at 3. I might be able to win if Esha just hits with everything, and it hits with all 3 dice. And is that really it? So let's move up 1, and let's go 1, 2, 3. I have 4 energy left, which I won't be able to really do anything with. I guess I could, yeah. I guess it really is just down to this, huh? Alright, well, go on, Asha. I need you to blow up. I feel like this attack should have Gambit, but it probably shouldn't. Zoop. Oh, there's a 1. It sucks. Alright, so that's 1 damage to Asha and you. Boss goes... Oh, and then I forgot to activate my G minions, not that it matters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It'll move close to my allies. And then Arizal Sol spawn a minion. And if I think I'm just lose. And then that is a minion that will be spawned. And what is it? It doesn't spawn because no S-types. And yeah, there's an S-type. So this will come into play in a relevant spot. If it came into play on 2, Einar could have potentially killed that with the Dream Luck. Probably not, though. So, whatever. That minion spawns in, like, all the way over there. It doesn't matter. And now it's my move once more. Which spawn was that? Was that Arizal Spall's minion spawn, or was that Art's minion spawn?
I think that was the boss attack version.
Oh, yeah. Alright, so then of course there will be another minion spawn to see what happens. Which would be this. It'll come up again, and it'll make that ES type And there are E's in the good discard pile, which you do look at. So new ES
So
type.
since the SSM would have spawned this turn, well, since it spawned
Yeah.
the same action, would that mean it would activate now, or would you still spawn a different minion?
Well, it was gonna come in on the 4, and then it doesn't spawn this turn because yeah, you're right, it doesn't. No combined spawn. So S type would come in, and then it would shoot me because S types activate, and it would shoot Einer as an insult to injury. And it will deal 2 damage to Einer. Thanks. Alright. Stupid minions rolling better than I do. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Theoretically, if I could go to -5 and just give myself 5 energy, I would do that. Because I think I lose. The only robot I have left to activate is Iron. So I would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I would attack with my Desperate Arc Blade. My Desperate Arm Vulcan. And if I crit, I would win. No, I did the ultimate, which is critness. So anyway, I would lose regardless because I would go to -5. And there's nothing I don't think I could do with Einer. With that, but that concludes that test. The boss wins due to my hubris. Because I think if I never spent any Valor this turn on Valor skills, I probably could have just prepared this turn and won next turn somehow.
And so in the event, like if you're at negatives to win, do you just have to get the boss to 0, or do you have to get it to like a lower negative than you?
No, you just kill the boss before the round ends. Yeah. So if I managed to actually do 2 damage to Arizal Saw, I would have won. Let's see here. But I think that's an example of solo mode, and that was been playing a lot of solo mode lately. And that was good. I felt like as I give feedback to myself, that felt like a reasonable challenge, and nothing was fundamentally horrifically broken. Just needed to figure out that thing with the 2 super cards. So we'll say that you put in 1 super card from each boss. The scenario rules will have information on what HP they start at and what minion deck they use, and what the specific minion rules are for this mode. Excelgon was menacing. That was good. We've only tested him like twice now, but I kind of like him. We just need to figure out his healing ability and how it works. And then Arizal Sol. I actually forgot to do Arizal Sol's ability a bunch of times. I completely forgot about it. Because on every turn, I'm supposed to roll 3 dice, and it would deal damage within 3 radius of a star point. So at the start of this round, I would have done this. And because I rolled a 1, it would deal 1 damage to everybody within 3 radius of this star point, which actually wouldn't have mattered that much in the grand scheme of things.
So it says minions on those star points. So if Arizal Sol is still on the star point, does that...
Oh yeah, so actually I wouldn't have done anything.
Okay.
Which makes the question of, is it... I think across the entire gate, I don't think that would have actually done anything. So maybe want to look at that ability and make it something both easier to remember and more effective, because the worst designs are the ones that are hard to remember, and even if you did remember them, they didn't do anything, so we gotta look at that. And its warp ability, I found to be quite, at least a little bit interesting, especially in the context of you can manipulate where it goes once it warps with by spending Valor. So at least that one I remember to do each time, because it's like a key part of the robot that's associated with an action I'm already doing, as opposed to like a beginning of turn upkeep thing, which are always the things you forget. So yeah, I think that I personally like Aegis solo mode. I think it's coming along quite well. It's just the content design for it is been interesting, since we want all the bosses to feel different and require different strategies. But I think Excelgon was kind of like a home run in terms of design. At least it fundamentally feels like it does things. And there's also one we've been testing for the longest, and we have 4 other robots. We have a boss card for each level 5 robot that we've created, and we have 2 level 3 robots. And figuring out if these 3-letter boss robots actually function is something that we were focusing on this week. And they kind of do. They're kind of alright. Attacking twice is just as good as attacking every turn, I guess. But yeah, you want to PAX Unplugged, baby? See you in Philly, booth 4031. And after that, we'll be back again for another stream mid-December, and that will be testing campaign stuff. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Until next time, bookmark the Kickstarter, January 17th. All right, have a good night.